Many are called, but few are chosen. If this video found you, it was no mere coincidence. For those on a divinely guided path, there are no accidents. You were led here, drawn by a deeper knowing that there is something inherently different about you. You've always felt it, haven't you? A profound sense of duty and a weight on your shoulders that others simply don't carry. Perhaps you couldn't put it into words, but you've always known you were meant for something extraordinary. This message is not for the masses. No, this is for the rare souls with a sacred mission on this earth. This is for the chosen ones. If you don't feel this calling, you might as well turn back now, because the truths I'm about to share will only resonate with those who have been set apart by a higher purpose. To everyone else, these words will seem hollow, but for you, the chosen, they will act as a key unlocking a path that was always meant to be yours. Stay with me until the very end, because what I'm about to reveal could fundamentally reshape your spiritual journey. These are the secrets you must know to fortify your spirit and walk your path with unwavering power, boundless wisdom, and divine protection. You cannot afford to ignore these truths. Your mission is too vital and the opposition is too fierce to face unprepared. Now, let's begin. The first lesson we must cover is the paramount importance of spiritual discernment. As a chosen one, you are likely aware that there are things you must keep to yourself. People around you are unconsciously drawn to your light, but some will be inspired by it while others will feel threatened. Not everyone has your best interests at heart, and most cannot truly comprehend the sacred path you walk. That is why discretion is vital, not in the sense of dishonesty, but as a deep wisdom for knowing when and with whom to share. This is crucial for safeguarding both your spiritual and emotional self. There are revelations, insights, and yes, personal vulnerabilities meant only for you or a very select few. Why, you ask? Because many people simply won't understand. Some will ridicule you, others will doubt your experiences, and worst of all, there are those who will use your own words and revelations against you. The chosen are often misunderstood, and in that misunderstanding lies great danger. As it is written, "Do not give what is holy to dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine." You carry priceless gifts, wisdom, spiritual gifts, and a divine anointing that not everyone is equipped to receive with respect. You must protect these. You are not meant to expose every intimate detail of your spiritual journey to those who are not on the same frequency. You must practice discernment in every single interaction. Now, let's dive into the first secret that will help you protect yourself. Secret 1. Your spiritual insights are sacred. Not every revelation you receive is meant to be shared openly, especially not with those who are spiritually blind. As a chosen one, you will be granted a profound understanding of truths that others would find confusing or even laughable. This isn't because you are mistaken, it is because they are not yet ready to comprehend what has been unveiled to you. Consider the prophets throughout history. They often spoke in parables or held back certain revelations until the right time. They did this because they understood the immense weight of the knowledge they carried. Sharing divine insights prematurely or with the wrong person can lead to mockery, persecution, and even spiritual attack. You must treat your spiritual revelations like a precious treasure. They are not for casual conversation or to satisfy someone else's curiosity. Your insights are gifts from the divine intended to guide you and empower you for your journey. If shared carelessly, these truths can be diminished in the eyes of others, or worse, they can be distorted and used to bring you harm. Let me be absolutely clear. This doesn't mean you must never share your wisdom. There will be moments when the Spirit prompts you to speak, and you will know exactly when that time is right. But until that moment arrives, guard your insights with care. Trust your inner knowing. The divine gave you this wisdom for a reason, and part of that reason is to keep it protected until it can be revealed in the proper time and place. If you've ever felt misunderstood after sharing something deeply spiritual, this is the reason why. The world is not ready for everything you know. The path of the chosen is not an easy one, and part of its difficulty comes from carrying knowledge that others are not yet prepared to understand. But that is perfectly fine. You are not here to convince everyone. You are here to fulfill your unique mission, and part of that mission is knowing when to stay silent. Secret 2. Keep your vulnerabilities hidden. The second secret you must guard as a chosen one is your vulnerabilities. Yes, even those who are divinely guided have weaknesses. You are still human, and humans are susceptible to moments of doubt, fear, and exhaustion. However, these vulnerabilities should not be exposed to just anyone. Why? Because not everyone will meet you with compassion. In fact, Many will use your moments of weakness as an opportunity to attack you spiritually and emotionally. We live in a world where energy is currency, and when you reveal your vulnerabilities to the wrong people, you open yourself up to being drained. Spiritual parasites exist, and they are drawn to your light not to admire it, but to extinguish it. You must be deeply discerning about who you trust with your heart. The world is full of people who appear supportive but will speak against you behind your back. These are the individuals who, if they discover your weak spots, will exploit them without hesitation. I am not suggesting that you hide your humanity completely. We all need genuine connection and a small circle of trusted individuals who can see us at our most vulnerable and still offer unconditional love and support. But those people are few and far between. They are not the masses. They are the ones you find through prayer, divine guidance, and by testing their loyalty. Do not give your heart away freely. Remember Jesus in his final hours. He did not expose his fears and anguish to the crowd. He brought only his closest disciples with him to the Garden of Gethsemane. Even then, he understood the importance of privacy in his most vulnerable moments. Learn from his example. Share your struggles only with those who have proven themselves worthy, but keep your inner sanctuary guarded against anyone who would use your pain for their own gain. You, the chosen one, are on a divine mission. The insights and vulnerabilities you carry are sacred, and they are not for everyone. As you continue your journey, always remember this truth. Not all ears are ready to hear, and not all hearts are ready to understand. Protect what has been entrusted to you. Guard your spirit with the wisdom that not all things are meant to be shared openly. Secret 3. Guard your energy like a sacred flame. Now let's talk about your energy. Have you ever noticed how people seem drawn to you, as if they can sense something is different about you? That's because as a chosen one, your energy radiates differently. You carry a light within you that others may not fully comprehend, but they feel it. This is both a tremendous blessing and a heavy burden. Your energy is your spiritual lifeblood. It is the fuel that empowers your divine mission. But here's what you must understand. There are people and even spiritual entities that will actively seek to drain this energy from you. These are the people who constantly seem to need something from you but offer nothing in return. The ones who come to you with all their problems, their negativity, and their drama, all the while pulling from your spiritual reserves. It is no accident that you feel exhausted after certain interactions. That is not your imagination. It is your spirit signaling that your energy is being depleted by someone who does not have your best interests at heart. You are not obligated to pour into everyone. While you are called to serve, you must also be highly discerning. Not everyone who seeks your energy is worthy of it. Some are only there to consume, to take, and to leave you empty. This is why guarding your energy is one of the most critical secrets for a chosen one. Without it, you will find yourself depleted, weakened, and unable to fulfill the mission you were called to complete. So how do you guard your energy? First, learn to recognize when you are being drained. Pay close attention to your body, your emotions, and your spirit. When you feel that heavy, exhausted sensation after being around someone, that is your intuition sending a warning. The divine has given you this intuition for a reason, so trust it. If someone consistently leaves you feeling worse than you did before, they are not a positive influence on your spiritual growth. You must create distance. Second, learn the art of saying no. As a chosen one, you are naturally inclined to help, heal, and guide. It is part of your nature. But remember, even healers need rest. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of wisdom. It is a boundary that protects your energy, allowing you to save it for those who truly need and appreciate it, and for your own spiritual journey. Third, be selective about who you allow into your inner circle. Not everyone deserves access to your presence or your energy. The people you keep closest to you should be those who uplift you, who energize you, and who understand the sacred nature of your spiritual path. Surround yourself with individuals who contribute to your growth, not those who feed off your energy for their own personal gain. Remember, even Jesus was selective about who he spent his time with. He did not give himself fully to everyone he encountered. He had his disciples, his closest circle, and even within that, there were different levels of intimacy and trust. Learn from his example. Be wise about who you let into your spiritual and emotional space. Secret 4. Your presence is sacred. Let's go even deeper. Beyond your energy, let's talk about your presence itself, your very being. The essence of who you are is sacred. This is not just about the energy you give, but the space you occupy in the world. Your presence carries a certain weight, a divine purpose. And as a chosen one, you must truly understand its power. Have you ever entered a room and felt the entire atmosphere shift? Or perhaps you've spoken just a few words and suddenly all attention is on you. This is because your presence is magnetic. Whether you realize it or not, you carry an aura that affects every space you enter. This is no accident, it is part of your sacred calling. But with great presence comes great responsibility. Not everyone is worthy of sharing space with you. Now that may sound harsh, but it is the absolute truth. As a chosen one, you have been set apart for a higher purpose, and not everyone can handle that. Some will feel intimidated by your presence, some will be envious, and others will try to diminish your light because it threatens their own sense of self. This is why you must be intentional about the environments you enter and the people you allow to share your presence. How do you protect your presence? First, be mindful of the environments you place yourself in. Certain places carry negative energy, and as a chosen one, you are more sensitive to these energies than most. Stepping into an environment filled with hostility, jealousy, or spiritual darkness can affect you deeply. Your presence may shift the atmosphere, but it can also be attacked by the energies that reside there. Protect yourself by being discerning about where you go and who you spend your time with. Second, understand that your presence is a precious gift. Not everyone deserves to bask in it. This is not about arrogance, it is about protecting the sacredness of who you are. You would not throw a priceless treasure into the mud, so why would you place your sacred presence in environments or relationships that diminish your light? Choose wisely. You are not here to be everyone's friend, confidant, or guide. Your mission is too important for that. Third, embrace the power of solitude. As a chosen one, there will be times when you need to retreat from the world to recharge, to reconnect with the divine, and to protect your presence from being overexposed. Solitude is not the same as loneliness. It is a profound form of spiritual preservation. When you withdraw, you give your spirit permission to renew itself, to receive fresh revelations, and to strengthen for the journey ahead. Do not be afraid to take time for yourself. In fact, it is absolutely essential. Consider how often Jesus would withdraw from the crowds to be alone in prayer. He understood the importance of solitude in maintaining his spiritual strength and connection to the Father. If he needed that time, how much more do we? Your presence is powerful, but it also needs protection and renewal. Solitude is the key to that renewal. Chosen ones, your energy and your presence are your most valuable assets. They are the very foundation of your spiritual power, your mission, and your ability to impact the world, but they are also fragile if left unprotected. You must guard your energy with discernment and wisdom, and you must treat your presence as the sacred gift that it is. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every environment is conducive to your growth. By setting boundaries, practicing discernment, and embracing the power of solitude, you protect the very essence of who you are, and in doing so you ensure that you are fully equipped to fulfill your divine mission. Secret 5. The power of silence. As a chosen one, silence is one of your greatest allies. In a world that thrives on noise, where everyone is desperate to be heard, there is immense power in holding your tongue. Now, this does not mean living in constant secrecy or never speaking your truth. Rather, it means having the wisdom to know when to speak and when to remain silent. There is a reason why the great spiritual masters of old often spoke very little. Silence holds a different kind of energy, a divine energy. In silence, you can communicate with the spiritual realm in ways that words cannot. Think about it. How many times have you regretted words spoken in haste or out of frustration? Words are powerful. They can create and they can destroy, and once they are released into the world, they can never be taken back. But silence is a space for reflection, for contemplation, and for gathering immense power. When you choose to remain silent, especially in moments where others expect you to react, you are asserting control over your own energy. In silence, you gain wisdom. You learn to observe, to discern, and to understand the deeper meaning behind situations that would otherwise provoke an emotional response. Silence as a shield, as a chosen one. There will be times when people will try to provoke you, question you, or challenge your spiritual path. In these moments, silence can be your most powerful shield. When you refrain from responding to negativity or attempts to stir up conflict, you preserve your energy and protect your peace. Not every battle is yours to fight, and sometimes the wisest course of action is to say nothing at all. Consider this. Jesus remained silent before his accusers. Even when questioned and mocked, he chose silence over defense. Why? Because he knew that his mission and his truth did not require validation from the world. He was secure in who he was and what he had come to do. As a chosen one, you must adopt the same mindset. You do not need to justify yourself to those who do not understand your path. Let them speak, let them question, but choose silence as your response. In doing so, you maintain control over your own spiritual energy, when to speak and when to be silent. Now let's make something very clear. There are moments when you will be called to speak, when the Spirit moves you to share your wisdom or to defend a righteous cause. When that happens, do so without hesitation. But you must know the difference between a divine calling to speak and an emotional reaction. How do you know when to speak and when to stay silent? The answer lies in discernment. Before responding to a situation, especially one that feels emotionally charged, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will my words bring light, or will they feed into the darkness? Will my response serve my mission, or is it simply a reaction to someone else's ignorance or negativity? More often than not, silence is the more powerful response. In silence, you maintain your dignity, your energy, and your focus. You deny the opposition any power over you, and most importantly, you leave space for divine wisdom to guide your next steps. Secret 6. The art of discretion. Discretion goes hand in hand with silence, but it operates on a different level. Discretion is about knowing what to reveal and what to withhold. As a chosen one, there are aspects of your life, your spiritual path, and your mission that must remain private. This is not about living in fear or secrecy. It's about understanding that not everything is meant to be shared. We live in a world obsessed with oversharing. Social media, constant communication, and a need for external validation have led many people to broadcast every detail of their lives. But for the chosen ones, this is a dangerous practice. Your spiritual journey is sacred, and not everyone is meant to be a witness to it. Why discretion matters. Discretion protects you from unnecessary spiritual attacks. When you reveal too much about yourself, your plans, your struggles, your victories, you open a door for others to interfere in your journey. Some will do so out of jealousy, others out of pure malice, and some without even realizing the harm they cause. Think of your spiritual path like a delicate plant. It needs time to grow, to develop deep roots, and to strengthen before it can withstand the elements. If you expose it too soon, it becomes vulnerable to the wind, the rain, and even those who may step on it unknowingly. Your journey is no different. Until you are fully rooted in your mission, you must be highly selective about what you share and with whom. This doesn't mean you should never share your experiences. There will be times when sharing your story will inspire others, and there will be moments when the Spirit prompts you to reveal certain aspects of your journey. But those moments must be guided by divine wisdom, not by a desire for attention or validation. Protecting your spiritual progress. Discretion is especially important when it comes to your spiritual progress. As you grow, you will experience revelations, breakthroughs, and moments of divine clarity. These are precious gifts meant to strengthen and guide you. But not everyone is ready to hear or understand what you have been given. Sharing these revelations prematurely can lead to misunderstanding, mockery, or even a spiritual attack. The enemy, in both the physical and spiritual realms, thrives on information. The more they know about your journey, your weaknesses, and your plans, the easier it is for them to disrupt your progress. This is why discretion is absolutely essential. Keep your spiritual growth private until it is time for it to be revealed. Move in silence and let your success and spiritual power speak for itself when the time is right. Discretion in relationships. Discretion also extends to your relationships. As a chosen one, you will form connections with others who are on a similar spiritual path, and these relationships will be vital to your growth. However, not every relationship deserves public attention. There are certain connections that should remain private, sacred even, because they have been divinely orchestrated for a specific purpose. This is especially true when it comes to romantic relationships. As a chosen one, you may find yourself attracting individuals who are drawn to your light but are not truly aligned with your mission. Be discerning about who you allow into your inner circle and who you share your deepest truths with. Discretion in your relationships ensures that the sacredness of your connection remains protected from outside interference and negativity. The power of moving in silence. Finally, let's talk about the power of moving in silence. This means making decisions, working on projects, and making progress on your spiritual journey without announcing your every move. There is immense power in silence because it allows you to build without distraction, interference, or unnecessary scrutiny. When you move in silence, you give yourself the space to grow without the pressure of outside opinions or expectations. You can focus solely on your mission and your connection to the divine. And when the time comes to reveal the fruits of your labor, the impact will be undeniable. Chosen ones, silence and discretion are your spiritual armor. In a world that thrives on noise and oversharing, you must choose to walk a different path. Choose your words carefully, protect your spiritual progress, and be discerning about who you allow into your inner circle. Remember, not everything is meant to be shared, and not every battle requires a response. By embracing the power of silence and discretion, you protect your energy, your presence, and your divine mission. Secret 7. Master your emotions. Emotions are a fundamental part of the human experience. Even as a chosen one, you will feel the full spectrum of emotions: joy, sorrow, anger, love, frustration. But here is where your path diverges from others. You cannot afford to let your emotions control you. To be effective in your mission, you must learn to master them. The key to mastering your emotions is not to suppress them, but to understand them. You must know where they come from, why they arise, and how to channel them in a way that serves your purpose rather than disrupts it. This is no easy task, but it is an absolute necessity. Why is emotional mastery so important? Because as a chosen one, you are a spiritual warrior, and like any warrior, you must remain calm and focused even in the heat of battle. When emotions take over, you lose control, your judgment becomes clouded, and your ability to make wise decisions diminishes. The enemy, whether spiritual or physical, thrives on chaos. If you are ruled by your emotions, you become vulnerable to manipulation, distraction, and ultimate defeat. Think about the story of Moses. Even after leading his people out of Egypt, he struggled with his emotions. In a moment of frustration, he struck the rock, instead of speaking to it as God had instructed. This act of anger cost him the chance to enter the promised land, Numbers 21:7-12. This shows us that even the most divinely chosen leaders can fall victim to their emotions if they don't learn to master them. How to master your emotions? Mastering your emotions begins with self-awareness. You must become attuned to your inner world. When you feel anger rising, when sadness begins to overwhelm you, or when anxiety creeps in, pause. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What is the root of this emotion? Often emotions are tied to deeper issues, fears, unresolved trauma, or unmet expectations. Understanding the root helps you address the cause rather than just reacting to the surface emotion. Next, practice emotional regulation. This is the ability to manage your emotions in a healthy and productive way. It's about responding rather than reacting. When you feel a strong emotion, don't act on it immediately. Take a moment to breathe, to center yourself, and to ask, what is the wisest course of action? This simple pause can prevent you from making decisions you'll later regret. Remember that emotional mastery does not mean you ignore or suppress your emotions. In fact, doing so can be dangerous. Suppressed emotions don't disappear, they fester and eventually explode. Instead, acknowledge your feelings, but don't let them dictate your actions. You are the master of your emotions, not the other way around. Channeling emotions for spiritual strength. Your emotions can also be a source of power if channeled correctly. When you experience righteous anger, for example, it can be used to fuel positive change. Anger over injustice can lead to action that brings about spiritual or social transformation. Likewise, sorrow can lead to compassion, motivating you to heal and uplift others who are suffering. The key is to use your emotions as a tool, not a master. When you feel a strong emotion, ask yourself how you can channel it into something productive. Can your frustration inspire you to persevere? Can your sadness deepen your empathy for others? Can your joy be used to lift up those around you? By transforming your emotions into spiritual power, you stay in control of your journey and remain aligned with your divine mission. Secret 8. Maintaining balance in all things. Balance is the absolute cornerstone of a chosen one's life. Without balance, even the most powerful spiritual warrior can fall. Balance is what keeps you grounded. It's what allows you to walk the fine line between the spiritual and the physical worlds without losing yourself in either one. But maintaining balance in today's chaotic world is not easy. You are constantly pulled in different directions: work, relationships, responsibilities, and of course your spiritual path. If you are not careful, you can find yourself overwhelmed, completely burnt out, or disconnected from your higher purpose. How to maintain balance as a chosen one? First, you must prioritize your spiritual life. As a chosen one, your spiritual connection is the foundation of everything you do. Without it, you will lose your sense of direction and purpose. No matter how busy life gets, make time each day for spiritual practices, prayer, meditation, reflection, or simply sitting in silence, this daily connection with the divine will center you and give you the clarity and strength you need to navigate the world's challenges. Second, practice self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Your physical, mental, and emotional well-being are just as important as your spiritual health. Take care of your body through proper nutrition, rest, and exercise. Take care of your mind by setting clear boundaries, avoiding toxic environments, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and peace. Remember, balance is about taking care of the entire self, not just the spiritual aspect. Third, learn to say no. As a chosen one, people will naturally gravitate toward you, seeking your guidance, your light, and your energy. While it is part of your mission to help and uplift others, you must also protect yourself from being overextended. You are not responsible for everyone's healing, and you cannot solve everyone's problems. Learn to discern when to step in and when to step back. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of necessity for maintaining your balance. Fourth, cultivate a balanced mindset. This means avoiding extremes. Extremes of any kind, whether in emotion, behavior, or belief, can lead to imbalance. Stay grounded. Seek wisdom from both spiritual and practical sources. Remember that you are living in both the spiritual and physical worlds, and each has its rightful place in your journey. When you focus too much on one and neglect the other, imbalance will follow. Balancing relationships. Balance is especially important in your relationships. As a chosen one, your relationships can either strengthen or weaken your spiritual path. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who understand the importance of your mission, and who bring positivity into your life. At the same time, you must create distance from those who drain your energy or pull you away from your higher purpose. However, balance does not mean cutting off all relationships with those who are struggling or in need. It means knowing how much of yourself to give and when to step back to recharge. You are not called to be a martyr for everyone's issues, but you are called to be a light. Balance allows you to fulfill that role without losing yourself in the process. Maintaining balance between solitude and connection. Lastly, you must balance your time between solitude and connection. As we discussed earlier, solitude is vital for your spiritual renewal. It is in these quiet moments that you receive guidance, strength, and clarity from the divine. But equally important is your connection with others. As a chosen one, you are here to guide, inspire, and uplift, and this requires interaction with the world around you. The key is to find a rhythm that works for you. Spend enough time alone to recharge your spirit, but do not isolate yourself from the world entirely. You have a mission to fulfill, and that mission requires you to engage with others. Balance solitude with meaningful connections, and you will find that your spiritual power grows stronger with each interaction. Chosen ones, mastering your emotions and maintaining balance are not just personal goals, they are essential for your spiritual survival and growth. Emotional mastery keeps you focused and in control, while balance ensures that you remain grounded and aligned with your mission. Remember, you are walking a sacred path, and every step requires awareness, discipline, and grace. By mastering your emotions and living a balanced life, you empower yourself to move through the world with strength, wisdom, and divine purpose. Secret 9. Protect your spirit from negative energies and attacks. As a chosen one, you are more spiritually sensitive than most. You can feel the subtle energies around you, the vibrations of people, places, and situations. This heightened sensitivity is a gift, but it also makes you more susceptible to negative energies. Spiritual attacks, whether they come from people, environments, or unseen forces, are very real. They can manifest as emotional exhaustion, confusion, doubt, fear, or even physical illness. That is why spiritual protection is absolutely crucial for your well-being and your ability to carry out your mission. How to protect your spirit? First, you must maintain a strong connection to the divine. Your relationship with the Creator is your ultimate source of protection. When you are in tune with the divine, you receive guidance, clarity, and a shield of spiritual protection. This connection is like a fortress around your spirit, shielding you from the negativity and darkness that seek to harm you. How do you maintain this connection? Through daily spiritual practices. Prayer, meditation, and reading sacred texts are essential. These practices keep you aligned with the divine, grounding you in love, light, and wisdom. When you are spiritually grounded, external forces have less power over you. Second, use spiritual tools to enhance your protection. These tools might include prayer, affirmations, crystals, protective symbols, or even the simple act of calling on divine assistance. One of the most powerful prayers for protection is the Lord's Prayer, which Jesus gave us as a shield against evil, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Matthew 6:13. When you feel under attack, whether spiritually or emotionally, Speak words of protection over yourself. Declare that you are surrounded by light and that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Third, cleanse your energy regularly. Just as your physical body needs to be cleansed, so does your spirit. Negative energies can attach themselves to you from your surroundings, from toxic people, or from stressful situations. Spiritual cleansing through rituals like smudging with sage, bathing in salt water, or simply visualizing white light washing over you helps you release these negative energies and return to a state of spiritual purity. Recognizing spiritual attacks. Not every challenge you face is a spiritual attack, but as a chosen one, you must be aware of the signs. Spiritual attacks often manifest as overwhelming feelings of fear, doubt, or confusion. You may feel disconnected from your purpose or from the divine, and things that normally inspire you may suddenly feel meaningless. You may also experience unusual conflict in your relationships, a sense of heaviness, or recurring negative thoughts. When you recognize these signs, do not panic. Understand that this is an attempt to pull you off your path. It is in these moments that spiritual protection becomes even more important. Pray for guidance, ask for divine assistance, and surround yourself with protective energy. Do not give in to fear, for fear is the enemy's most effective tool. Instead, stand firm in your faith and your connection to the divine. Secret 10. Maintain an unshakable connection to the divine. The final secret is the very foundation of all the others, maintaining an unshakable connection to the divine. Without this connection, none of the other secrets will hold. This connection is your lifeline. It is the source of your wisdom, your protection, and your power as a chosen one. How to strengthen your connection to the divine? First and foremost, make time for daily communion with the divine. Whether you call it prayer, meditation, or reflection, this time is sacred. It's when you align yourself with the higher forces guiding your life. It's when you receive the messages, insights, and direction that will help you fulfill your mission. Many chosen ones fall into the trap of busyness. The demands of the world, work, relationships, and responsibilities can distract you from your spiritual practice. But let me be clear, neglecting your connection to the divine is the most dangerous thing you can do. When you are disconnected, you become vulnerable to the chaos of the world. You lose sight of your purpose, and you weaken your spiritual protection. Even Jesus, in the midst of his ministry, would often withdraw to solitary places to pray, Luke 5:16. He understood that his strength came from his connection to the Father. If he needed that time to recharge, how much more do we? As a chosen one, you must prioritize this connection above all else. Developing spiritual listening. Another aspect of strengthening your connection to the divine is learning how to listen. Often we approach prayer or meditation as a one-sided conversation. We speak, we ask for guidance, but we forget to listen. The divine is always speaking to us through our intuition, through signs, through circumstances, but we must be attuned to hear it. Spiritual listening requires stillness. It requires quieting the noise of the world and the noise in your own mind. When you learn to listen, you'll find that the answers to your questions are often already within you. The divine speaks through your intuition, through that still, small voice that nudges you in the right direction, but you must be willing to listen. Surrendering to the divine will. Finally, maintaining a strong connection to the divine requires surrender. This does not mean giving up or being passive. It means trusting that the divine has a plan for your life, and that plan is for your highest good. As a chosen one, your path may not always make sense to those around you, and it may not even make sense to you at times, but you must trust that every challenge, every lesson, is part of your spiritual growth and your mission. Surrendering means letting go of the need to control everything. It means releasing your fears, your doubts, and your anxieties to the divine. When you surrender, you open yourself up to divine guidance and miracles. You begin to see that everything is working together for your good, even when it feels like it's falling apart. This is not blind faith, it's spiritual wisdom. It's the understanding that the Creator's plan is far greater than anything we can imagine. By surrendering to that plan, you align yourself with divine timing, divine wisdom, and divine power. The power of faith. Faith is the cornerstone of your connection to the divine. It is faith that sustains you when the path is unclear, when the challenges seem insurmountable, and when the world feels heavy. Faith reminds you that you are not alone, that you are divinely protected, and that your mission is guided by forces greater than you. As a chosen one, your faith will be tested. There will be times when you feel abandoned, when you doubt your purpose, and when the weight of the world feels unbearable. But in those moments, remember this: the divine never abandons those who are chosen. You are always being guided, even when you cannot see the way forward. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is the inner knowing that no matter what happens, you are on the right path. When you maintain faith, you keep your connection to the divine strong, and that connection will see you through any storm. Chosen ones, the journey you are on is sacred, but it is also filled with challenges. Spiritual protection and a strong connection to the divine are your greatest defenses. They are the foundation that allows you to walk this path with confidence, wisdom, and strength. Never neglect your connection to the divine. It is the source of your power, your guidance, and your protection. Keep your spirit aligned, guard your heart, and trust that every step you take is divinely orchestrated. With these secrets, you are now equipped to walk the path of the chosen with courage and spiritual authority. You are not alone. Forces greater than you are guiding your steps. Trust in that, and know that you are here for a purpose far greater than you can imagine. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Stay protected, stay connected, and above all, stay faithful. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and let's continue to build a community of like-minded souls dedicated to spiritual growth and personal development. Stay blessed and continue shining your light. Until next time, thank you for being a part of Sacred Wisdom.